What's going on? This is Coach Marcus for Pro Fan Talk, and let me get my microphone up here. What's going on? This is Coach Marcus for Pro Fan Talk, and the news keeps coming. First out the limo already. Eric Bienemy has a new spot. Eric Bienemy, multi-year deal with the Washington Commanders. Very interesting because, in my opinion, that is not a lateral move. That is a step down. But he took the gig. I think depending on who they have at quarterback is going to make a difference. And I say I don't think that's a lateral move because everybody knows that Bienemy's been looking for a head coaching job for the last, since 2019, really. Should have been a head coach already. The reasons as to why not, I have no idea. It sounds like maybe there's something going on underneath. There's got to be a reason why people don't like him, because there are a lot of guys who have gotten hired with far less acumen than he has. A lot of these guys that have gotten hired, Sirianni included, the resume was not as good as Eric Bieniemy's, especially when you got a chip to go with it. So I don't know. Maybe one day in the future we'll find out what the real is. I'd be curious to hear opinions from people from Kansas City, because if you're not in Kansas City, if you're on the outside looking in, you're not going to get the whole story. You got to get somebody that's actually there. Or maybe, I'll ask my boy Jason Dunn again. Like, what's the deal with him? He's got the resume. There's no reason why he shouldn't have been a head coach 2-3 years ago. I don't know. But Eric Bieniemy has agreed in principle on a multi-year deal that will make him assistant head coach, offensive coordinator. Bienemy had a 2-day interview with the Commanders before agreeing to leave Kansas City after 5 seasons as the Chiefs' offensive coordinator. Bienemy will call the plays in Washington, something Andy Reid did in Kansas City. So now the question is going to be answered. Was it all Reid? Did he have, some skin in the game? How good was he at calling plays? Now all of those questions are going to be answered. But is it going to be equal? Absolutely not. Because it says something when you calling the plays for your team and you have got the best quarterback in the league. That means something. Same thing with Belichick. It means something when you got Tom Brady calling the shots. It means something when you got Patrick Mahomes calling the shots. Hopefully it'll be the same way with Jalen Hurts, but just like Josh Allen, just like Justin Herbert, all of these teams with great quarterbacks, well, Cincinnati with Joe Burrow, you feel confident that your team has a good chance to make it in the playoffs. So, was it Patrick Mahomes or was it Reid and Bieniemy? Because the eyes are going to be on Andy Reid as well. Can he call a good game without Eric Bieniemy? Because people are going to be itching to say, see, Eric Bieniemy meant nothing. So it's weird because now it has to be a situation where Andy Reid will almost have to do a heavy regress before people will give Eric Bieniemy his props. Because I believe he's going to struggle in Washington. Because Washington, it ain't going to be Taylor Heineke. Or maybe it will be. If Heineke ends up starting and he takes them to the playoffs, because that's what it's going to end up being. If whoever they got a quarterback, if they make it to the playoffs, he'll get his respect. But we'll see. Interesting. I figured he would have stayed another year. He probably could have, but or maybe they didn't want him. Maybe they didn't want to re-sign him. So we'll find out next year. What else is up? NFL gets thrown under the bus for the slippery Super Bowl field conditions that one player called the worst ever. And that one player was Hassan Reddick. And he wasn't wrong. Not an excuse. Both teams played on it. And guess what? The Chiefs were slipping and sliding out there just like we were. I will say that it did negate some of our pass rush, because from both sides of the ball, I saw Hassan Reddick, I saw Robert Quinn. Both of them were on skates trying to turn that corner to get around that defensive tackle. I mean, that offensive tackle. So that was limiting our ability to get to the quarterback. But I saw running back slipping on both sides of the ball. Like, it happened on both sides. There's no, didn't make one team better or worse, but come on, at a Super Bowl, you can't have them conditions. You cannot have those conditions. $800K for that, get your money back. That was embarrassing for the NFL, for sure. For sure, that was embarrassing. It was too obvious, too evident. And especially us here in Philadelphia, with our history of bad turf. You remember they canceled a primetime game because the turf was so bad. So we are very familiar with that. But at the Super Bowl, everything supposed to be right. And they're going to have to do something, because to me, it's not worth it, because your halftime show is going to be whoever. It's not worth the halftime entertainment jacking up the field for a 20-minute concert. Not worth it. Either do something different. Obviously, that's not an issue when you on turf, but when you in natural grass, that ain't worth it. That ain't worth it. Put a fake floor down, or do whatever you got to do, but don't chop up the turf. And that's exactly what happened with that Rihanna halftime show. Running all over the place, dropping them big pedestals down, all of that kind of stuff. It's just putting, basically it's just patting down the turf. And you can see right in the middle of the field where they painted the big Super Bowl logo, that's where they were having most of the problems. So maybe they need to look at something that, whenever they do halftime shows going forward, you got to put something on that turf. If they can bring all of that crap together in a matter of minutes, they can lay down a fake floor or something. They got to do something. They can figure it out. But they can't have that anymore. That's horrible. And it does affect the game. Oh, what is this? NFL's former top ref thinks the league will ban what made Eagles so good at Jalen Hurts sneaks. So they've been talking about this all day. So when we run this quarterback sneak and they push Jalen Hurts forward, don't mind the fact that he can squat 605 pounds. But so now they're talking about banning that. And I heard Sean Payton's little sarcastic comment, I'm going to run that every play. No, you're not. Dude, shut up. When you get your chance and you get, when you had your quarterback down there, your dual threat down there, you could have ran it. We ran it successfully, and nobody stop it. The only time they stopped us running that play was when Gardner Minshew did it. And they've been doing that for I don't know how long. So now all of a sudden, because Jalen can do it and he's perfected it, now they got to take it out of the game. That's just sour grapes. That's bull. That's straight bull. Because before anybody else had success with it, it was, it wasn't that big of a deal. Now all of a sudden it's a big deal because you got teams that focus on it. If the other teams want to run it, let them run it. Somebody's going to stop it. Eventually, the easiest way to stop it is, and that's what's so hard to do, is you got to get low so he can't run. Got to get to his legs. So I just think that's sour grapes, and I don't like the fact that At no time before in the league, as long as they've been running this sneak play, was it ever a problem. Now it's all of a sudden a problem. So that I don't know. Is that Philly bias? It wasn't a problem until we started doing it successfully and consistently. So I don't know. The NFL gets weird about stuff like this. You know, somebody's bitching to the league or whatever. And it's not even a unique quarterback sneak. And one thing that people forget, when you run this play, it's hard to see on the screen if you can see where my cursor is. When Jalen takes that snap, and this is the reason why Gardner Minshew got blasted when he ran it, because he didn't know how to run it. Gardner Minshew tried to just go straight ahead and try to jump over the top. Not to mention he has zero leg strength. But if you notice the secret to this play, when Jalen snaps the ball, he takes just a half a second. And then he slides to his left. Because that's where the hole is. He slides to his left. And he gets the ball in there. Because I was always waiting for them to have either Quez or Miles or whoever's back there to take off to the left and he do a quick pitch on the outside. Because there wouldn't be anybody there. But they got that little gap. He waits half a second and they clear that out and he can go straight ahead. Plus, again, when you got a guy that can squat 600 pounds, he's going to move the pile a little bit. So that'll be one of those immediate rule changes or something like that. But, you know, I'm surprised everybody else wasn't doing it because it's such a copycat league. I don't know. But it's a shame if they try to take it away. Because then it'll be something else. And are they going to try to take that away? So Sean Payton, I was like, go ahead on with that nonsense, man. You mad because you didn't think of it first? Like, stop with that. It ain't like it's an unfair advantage. You ain't running it at 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3. You got to be 3rd in 1 or less. So stop crying. People crazy. And last but not least, discussing Jalen Hurts' contract. Big news. That's what everybody's waiting on. That is the domino that's going to tip everything else over. That's going to determine what we can or cannot do. Eagles general manager Howie Roseman has built one of the NFL's most talented rosters, with its centerpiece being quarterback Jalen Hurts. By the way, nobody thought Jalen Hurts was going to be this good. With the NFL free agency slated to begin on March 13th, which is right around the corner, Roseman said that the organization intends to have its quarterback stick around. Obviously, we want to keep our best players here for the long term, Roseman said, but Reuben Franks, he's certainly one of our best players, so we'll keep all the contract talks internal, but we definitely like to keep Jalen Hurts here long term. So what that tells me is they are going to put together a package, so he's going to be here like 4 to 6, at least, maybe more. He's earned it. The question is, how are they going to structure that contract? Jalen Hurts is going to get paid. The question is Jalen Hurts going to request so much that it cash straps the organization where they can't put enough money in other places? That's the question. That's the question. Because I think Jalen Hurts understands that if all the money goes to him and he doesn't have any pieces around him, what's the point? We got to have A.J. Brown. We got to have Devontae Smith stick around. Eventually, Dallas Goedert, he's going to have his day in the sun. We got C.J. Gardner-Johnson must stay. Bradbury's going to be gone, but C.J. must stay. I would love to see T.J. Edwards hang around, and I would love to see Javon Hargrave hang around. Everybody else is expendable. Sayamalu's going to be gone because Jurgens is ready. I would like to see Sayamalu stay because I want to see Jurgens stay at center. But again, this all depends on what Kelsey's going to do. So we've got some pieces to figure out what we're going to do with it. I think Miles Sanders played himself out of a good contract. His last couple of games were not very good. The Super Bowl was, I don't know what happened to him. But Miles Sanders is weird. He's a 1,000-yard rusher, but they didn't use him like a 1,000-yard rusher. And I said this a couple weeks ago, and I believe it. If they would have ran Miles Sanders like a true #1 running back, he would have led the league in rushing. I truly believe that. With the way our offensive line was playing. But they didn't do that. It was like they were scared to run the ball with him. So we'll see what's going to happen, but I think they're going to let him walk. I think Gainwell will be our dude next year. I want to see what Trey Sermons is all about. He's a big body that can tote the rock, but let's get him in there and let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. We got to get a third receiver in here. Quez Watkins, let him walk. He didn't live up to his potential. He's got great speed, but his hands are garbage. He put the ball on the ground too much, and when he had an opportunity to make big plays, he could not make big plays. So we need somebody that can go up and catch that ball when everybody's concentrating on AJ and Devontae. He was supposed to be that dude. He wasn't. Obviously, Zach Pascal wasn't there. That's Sirianni's boy, and he didn't get no type of run. He was very sparingly used. So we got to get somebody. If you want to put that Devin Allen in there, the Olympic kid, let's see what he can do. You already know he got the speed. Let's put the hands to the test. Let's get these guys, let them take their lumps and find out what we got. So it'll be interesting to see what we do in the draft. We got 2 picks. I don't think Howard's going to keep both the picks. I think he's going to trade one of those picks so we can get probably 2 more, possibly 3 more picks later on down the line. And that's the way he's been working. So I think he'll keep one of those picks, and we need to be going after a cornerback or a safety. So we'll see what's going to happen. So got some new stuff coming up. XFL is coming up. I'll be covering XFL. So interested just to see more football. And I guess I can get into basketball now. See what the Sixers. Sixers are looking good, but it's All-Star weekend. So I'm coming in at the right time. I know we're playing well, but with the Sixers, you know, I'm coming in right at the right time at the back half of the season because we know the Sixers are good. Show me what you can do in the playoffs. I'm there with it. I know Embiid is good, and he's looking like the MVP this year, but show me what you can do in the playoffs. That's what it comes down to. So we'll see. But do me a favor, smash that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be having more content coming up very, very soon. Got some new graphic packages coming through very, very soon. So stay tuned. It'll be fun. But again, subscribe, hang around, join my team, and let's get to getting. Go Birds.